8:18 here on Manx Radio TT. It's Saturday the 2nd of June. It's the race preview show with the journalists Stephen Davison, Boyde and Stuart Barker. Good morning to you guys again. And Christy DeHaven, what have you got for us on social media things?
Yeah, we are on Facebook Live, streaming on Manx Radio TT Facebook, so do go over there. We've got quite a few messages coming in. Thanks for all of these, guys. So we've got Mike says, have a good day's racing. Guys and girls, stay safe. Sarah, morning gents, fingers crossed for Superbike Saturday. And Stu, where's Bradley the cat? I don't know what that's all about. You're going to answer that one?
I do, yeah.
Go on, tell us a story. We like that.
It's a friend of mine called Steve Moore who always buys some stupid little mascot at the TT and photographs it in inappropriate places with inappropriate people at inappropriate times. So I went to bed early last night because I was getting up to do this. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to Bradley last night, but I hope he's still safe.
I'm sure we'll have photographic evidence at some point as well. Chrissy, some more?
Yeah, and Susan, this is a nice one. Susan says, hi guys, loving all the coverage on Manx Radio TT. Just want to let you all know that this year would be the 10th year since Martin Finnegan's death and would love to hear your thoughts on Martin.
I can't believe it's 10 years. And just for a little side on that, the Skerries Road Races, which this year is Saturday and Sunday. Okay, I'll give you the dates in a little while when I find them. Oh, hang on, when I find them on there. I was speaking to Jack Corrie yesterday. They're having a special race there. There's a group of friends of Martin Finnegan's, friends and family got together, got a load of money together, and they're going to have a non-championship race down there in his name with a pretty good prize fund. Stephen Davison, I'm going to come to you first on this. We were with you, Martin, quite well, didn't we? He used to beat living daylight to me whenever he could, just grip me from behind because his hands were like shovels. And yeah, a big man, sorely missed.
Very badly missed. Yeah, he was a great character, and I think in Ireland the thing was that he was the first man from the south since probably Eddie Laycock who could take on and beat the men from the north. And at the same time he was great friends with Richard Britton, great rivals with Ryan Farquhar, and racing against Adrian Archibald and Darren Lindsay. And I think that was really a golden age, a really good 2004. I'd always count as kind of my most enjoyable year ever in Irish road racing because all those characters were there. And Martin, he came. It was the TT that he wanted to win, and he got onto the podium and stuff before his crash. So it was just a real pity what happened, and nothing to do with him. No breaks.
Yeah, well, exactly down to Cooley Hill there on the Tandragee circuit. So yeah, it was a big shame, but a good character, like I said. I remember some of the videos on the old realroadracing.com website. The thing with him and Richard Britton in the. I think they still are available on YouTube to watch as well. And some of the outtakes on there. I think Miles Lally was involved in some of those as well. Milo, if you're listening, good morning to you, sir. And a really big, larger than life character. Stuart, did you ever get to meet Martin at all?
Yeah. I knew a girl, Donna Costello, who was at school with Martin. And just for me, he was going to be the next big character. He had that, very different to Joy Delot, but he had that thing that drew everybody in, north and south, as Stephen says. He was just larger than life and such. And I got to know him quite early on, so it's always good for a journalist point of view to get in early doors, and then he started really doing things, and they're always make themselves available to you. And don't forget, he was closely linked with Guy Martin. They kind of started the TT at the same time. They didn't one spanner for the other at some point.
Yeah, Guy spanner for him. That was 03, I think it was.
Yeah. And once again, just taken away from us, far too early after showing so much promise. But for me, more importantly, the thing I'll most remember about Martin is just the kind of giggles you could have with him, because he was just, he was just such a daft big bugger. He was.
I went down the Southern 100 paddock one after, I think it was the Thursday, the championship day down there, the Southern 100, and I was just walking through the paddock willy-nilly and just spotted something, and I got rugby tackled from behind to the floor by him, and he was a big lump of a chap, you know what I mean? There was no warning, just bang, and I was like, oh, what did you do that for? Because I felt like it, that's it. And that's kind of fun. And then half an hour later, he's out going around 100 odd mile an hour around the Southern 100 course. Do you see Martin Finnegan around when you were a bike fan, Chris Boyd, but he did a lot of success, didn't he?
Yeah, I would have seen him race, obviously. Didn't meet him particularly, but yeah, saw him race, and phenomenal character, and following the Irish nationals as we do, the name would crop up all the time, and he was coming, wasn't he? He was going to be quite a big star, I think. It's just such a shame that what happens, and it's part of road racing. But
I can't believe it's 10 years. That's and really.
Speaking of the Irish races, and obviously, Stuart, you've written books about Joey. Obviously, do you think there'll be?
No, not Joey. Steve Hislop
and Steve. Well, do you think? Who do you think sort of fits in among those kind of like huge characters now?
No, well, I mean, obviously, Guy Martin of the last 10 years has been there. the outstanding one. But they've all got their own thing, haven't they? Even if Michael Dunlop doesn't want to do interviews or speak to people, that in itself adds character to him and a certain enigma, and everybody's wondering what he's thinking. And John McGuinness calls a spade, so everybody likes him. He's a kind of just a regular guy who can do extraordinary things. So the characters are still there. Bruce is Bruce with his kind of, waking up 10 minutes before the start line, bless him. The characters have always been there in road racing in a way that they're maybe not, well, kind of definitely not in some of the short circuit series like MotoGP, the sort of corporate team speak. And I was speaking to Ian Simpson, the former Triple TT winner over here, just the other week, and he's just getting so annoyed with the drivel that they're coming out with.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, my sisters, brothers, uncles,
it's
mother,
like
and it's like
puppets with a hand up the back and shoving the helmet in the camera, and it's like, we can see the names on your leathers, guys. You don't need to. Yeah, it does get annoying, and it was ironically people like Guy Martin and Joey Dunlop who did their own thing that then end up getting all the attention and coverage anyway because they're not following the PR corporate line.
Do you think road racing, because it is such, compared to the BSB, your MotoGPs, things like that, do you think the road racing thing, it has them characters because, it needs those characters to give it the thing? Look at the exposure the Alamantiti's got, another road racer have got because of Guy Martin, first off. Joey Dunlop, countless stories about Joey being recognised all around the world, no matter where he went, whether it was on the charity missions, Australia, in various books that Stephen's been involved in as well. I've read some great stories about that. It needs those characters because it doesn't have that corporate thing that the BSB and the MotoGP does. And I think that's great. You have to have characters in sport, don't you?
I think road racing in particular attracts a different breed of rider, a different kind of rider, and they're less likely to be tamed by the corporate dollar.
They don't want to be
They
tamed.
don't want it, yeah.
No.
They'd rather say, keep your money and I'll do it my way. I want to do it my way. They're just more individual, I think, than the sort of team players that you get in MotoGP. Having said that, MotoGP at the minute, there are some great characters. I'm not taking anything
look at
away from
Simoncelli when he was there. He was just
for
a complete
sure,
live wire, wasn't he? You just didn't know what you're going to get. Mind you, some of them, like, you just see the interview, you just say, oh, this is going to be so boring. You feel for the person doing the interview, because I've been there when you get somebody, all they want to do is say, yeah, it was a great race, really enjoyed it, blah, 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 and I'd like to thank my sponsors and bye.
That's what the fast forward button on my remote is for.
Do you know, I can't remember the last time I actually sat and watched a full MotoGP race, to be honest with you.
Well, just on the back of that, brilliant message just come in from Chris saying, got MotoGP on the TV with the sound down and listening to the best motorcycle chat show on the radio. All the best to everyone on News 5 Man from Phnom Penh in Cambodia.
Oh. Wow.
Wish I was there.
Wonder what he's having for breakfast.
Yeah. Who knows?
I love that's where your mind went. Yeah, there's loads of people listening on Facebook, watching on Facebook.
Give them a good
Live.
mention. We'd like to give
So, Deborah, good morning from me in Tandragee, Northern Ireland. We've got Dale listening in Dundee in Scotland, says hello to everyone. Gaz, hello to Gaz. Callum says, good morning, everyone. Hopefully the weather clears and we'll get a safe day's racing. And on that note, just that point, of course, there's going to be another announcement from the clerk of the course at 9 a.m. So that's in about half an hour's time as to whether or not there's going to be any delays there.
Okay, let's just concentrate on you, Stevie Davison, first off. For those who don't know Stephen, he's been around the motorcycle game for a long time, taking photographs, written books. Some of the books are very, very good. Some of the pictures, well, I don't like to give him credit, to be honest with you, because he always takes a mickey out of me. But some of the pictures, Steve, are absolutely incredible. We always have a bit of fun at knocking around stuff, and we have to work together. For those who don't know, when the racers come in after the race into the winners' enclosure, Stephen takes the photographs, official photographs, and they go onto all the websites and stuff like that. And you have to work with each other to make sure that you're getting the right shot, and I'm doing my job as well. And that's an important thing. I've never got in your way, have I yet, Steve?
The odd thing. No, we always manage to do. We don't need pointy elbows.
How did you get involved in it? How did you first think, do you know what, I love bike racing, how am I going to pick up the camera? When did you first decide to do it?
Well, it was really down to Joey. It was really down to going to watch him starting to race, and he was just kind of getting going whenever I first went to races in the mid-70s, and he did stand out even then. He stood out as someone different, and he went on. He was one of the great things was he was just the same as us. He was just an ordinary bloke like maybe you were. He came from the same background, talked with the same accent, all the rest. He didn't live that far away from where I came from, and then to watch him progress to take on and beat the whole world, one of our own, and kind of that's what drew me into the sport really. But I didn't have any money to buy a camera for a long time. I was lucky enough though to get a camera and photographed Joey as well for a period, and then it just, what started out as a hobby very quickly became the day job. One of the strange things about it is that when it became the day job, then sometimes you couldn't get going to racing because you had to go and do football or cricket or something else during the summer. That was a frustration. But along the way, there's been all these other great Irish riders as well, and then you start going to the TT and you meet John and Bruce and Guy and all the other people, Dean and Peter and all now. It's just a constant succession of big stars, big people who make their mark, and they've all got, like you're saying there about the characters, they've all got their own quirks, they've all got their own way of going about things. Dean's very open and chatty. Say this week he's good fun all the time. Michael, you don't get 2 words out of him, but that's just another side to it, and you roll with that. Doing our job, you just have to roll with that, don't you?
Where was your first race you took a photograph of, and can you remember who it was that you took it for? You will do, probably.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was 86 at the Mid-Antrim, and it was Robert Dunlop, and I remember being in the churchyard at Cloughwater Church, and it was quite a slow corner as well, and I had one camera and one lens, and they came to this corner, and I shot. It was film, so I shot all the bikes sort of going around, and took the film to the chemist one day, and couldn't wait to see, and got the prints back, and picture after picture, there was nothing on it I'd missed. And there was, I probably would have quit at that stage, but about frame 36, there was Robert.
Perfect.
He was fully in he was, at both wheels. That was a hell of a bonus. And from then, that kind of kept you going. He didn't want to quit after that. You want to get a better answer.
And nowadays, of course, you've got the digital side, so you can just take a picture, go, I don't like that, delete.
Yeah.
Oh, so much
easy now.
Just wanted to ask Stephen, do you still have copies of your really early stuff? Have you got some really crap pictures? Just half a front wheel, and
I can show you plenty of rubbish.
My first Ulster Grand Prix, I took a little disposable thing that you had to send off to TruePrint and wait 3 weeks for it. And I was so excited after school every day waiting to get them, and you get a front wheel or I didn't know you had to move the camera with a bike. I didn't know you had to pan. So I waited for Joe to come past and tried to catch it in the. Results were disappointing.
That's part of the trick, Stuart. You only show people the good ones.
That's the way. We're here on the chat show this morning here at the back of the grandstand with Stephen Davison, Boyde and Stuart Barker. We'll get more thoughts on those guys after the break.